happy to report that I've had a pretty good week. Only bad thing that happened is I got kicked by one of those mini horses. If you saw my video, the farm where I ride, we have a bunch of adopted, rescued miniature horses. And I was feeding them and I got kicked. But that's just part of horse life. I'm happy to report I had no blatant flops this week. Yes. As some of you might know, Yolanda Soto Lopez is doing a charity collection, hats and scarves for an orphanage in Mexico, or maybe more than one orphanage. But she had a good response, or is having, it's still open, good response. Unfortunately, everybody likes to do hats for little people, and the big people, specifically the older males, got left out. So I did some hats that fall into the masculine category and sent those to her, and I didn't send any scarves. And after I sent the box off, she does a video saying she could really use more scarves. And so I felt a little guilty, and I have been working on scarves. So here is a thinner one that I did on the Addy Professional, on the smaller one. I love the colorway on it. However, it is done with homespun, Lion brand homespun. And I know that's a popular yarn, at least they claim it's one of their popular yarns. But I think people either seem to love it or hate it. It feels great, but it frays easily, and it's shaped kind of in a zigzag, which makes it difficult to work with. I find loom knitting was my most successful attempt in using this yarn. I have difficulty crocheting it unless I use a really big hook, as was suggested by some of my video subscribers, which is another reason I love doing YouTube. I've learned so much from you people. So I can crochet with it now. But this, I tried it out on the Addy just to see what it would do. And it was rough going. It would hang on the machine because it splits very easily. And had a really hard time with this. But it came out great, but it was just difficult getting there. I did another one. I have yet to finish my ends on this one though, but this too is the homespun. You know, and it's fine. I mean, it would really, it's thinner, it's probably about 3 inches, but to be honest, I don't need anything too big and thick because I would look like I have a cast on. So if they're smaller people like me, they might like this too. Do y'all know about Design Seeds? It's a website that is great color inspiration. Basically what it does is it takes a picture, gorgeous photography, which if you like photography, you'll really enjoy looking at the site just for that. But it will pull from it colors that are in that picture and shows you that these color combinations go really well together. Well, there was one picture that I saw where it had tan and gray side by side together. And when I looked at the tan and gray, I keep my yarn upstairs in a cabinet. And I opened the cabinet, and when I look at it side by side, I'm thinking, I don't like that. And when I saw it together on that Design Seeds, I said, wait a minute. And I climbed up there, pulled out my black, gray, and tan, and I love this combination. I just think it turned out so well. You know, actually, when I look at it, I think silver and gold. Silver and gold, silver and gold. Here's another silver and gold combination. Now this was done half double crochet, back loops only. And I like the way it turned out too. But can't you see, especially this one, I could see somebody, a man in a camel hair overcoat wearing this. I just think that would be so pretty. I love those colors together. Then I got the big Addy out. I got my unforgettable yarn out. This is the Tidal, T-I-D-A-L. And I made up another one of these scarves. And I love the way it came out. So pretty. Now, here it is. Don't you love it when I'm your guinea pig? I washed this, tossed it into a lingerie bag because there's plenty of times where I just throw that stuff in there and don't think twice about it. But this Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable is marked a 4, medium yarn, medium worsted. But it's a little bit on the thinner side, and we all know how that goes. If you've seen one of my Addy videos, I talk in depth about that. You can't change the gauge on an Addy machine. So what I've got here is basically a thinner worsted with done on thicker needles, so that you end up with sort of a looser weave. And that means it's a little bit more delicate feeling. So I tossed it in a lingerie bag, washed it and dried it, and it came out great. It does get a little bit fuzzier. Can you see the fuzzies come up? Not sure if you can tell, but it washed beautifully. Now I haven't put the pom-poms on it yet. Not pom-poms, the tassels that I like for this. But I'll do that soon. I didn't want to wash those. I wasn't sure how that was going to work out. I didn't trust myself. I'll be a guinea pig for you one day, and we'll see how tassels come out in the washer and dryer. Now, I can't recall working with a Karen 1-pounder ever before, and I've had it up in my cabinet, but I don't believe I've ever used it. So I pulled several of them out to make a scarf. And I'll say that this one again qualifies itself as a 4 worsted, but it's thicker than most of them. So using a J hook, which I believe is a 6 millimeter, I have to look that up, don't trust me. I made this scarf. This one is double crochets on the outside and half double crochets on the inside because the Red Heart Soft that was just double crochet, I wanted them to be about the same width, which they are, but this Red Heart Soft is a little bit thinner, so I had to make adjustments. This one's still wet, actually. I tossed it in the washer. I had to go get it out to show you, but I'm going to throw it in the dryer too. But I really like using this Karen 1-pounder. I believe it was Erin, Gimme Yard 418. I know it was Erin who told me that that's what she likes to use for her amigurumi projects, and I can see why. It's really firm. Now, granted, I used a larger hook, and you certainly wouldn't do this for amigurumi because you can see it's a looser weave. But I really enjoyed working with that for one of the cheaper acrylics. And of course, use your 40% off coupon and you can get 1 pound of yarn at a great price. And then, because I had a cat in my lap, like I always do when I'm crocheting or whatever, I didn't want to get up, and I had the scraps sitting by me, so I just made this little children's hat. So, of the softer acrylics, Red Heart Soft, Karen Simply Soft, Bernat Satin, Deborah Norville's Everyday Yarn, they're very, very soft. They're on the preferred end, I think, for most people. However, they have a tendency to split. Not everyone has this problem, and I really investigated this weekend, and I noticed if I hold one hand very still, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to give you the blue background of my shirt to see if you can see. If I hold this side without moving, very still, and untwist it, you can see how it splits by itself. So that led me to wonder, why is it that this happens more often for some people than others? For me, the way that I hold the yarn in my non-hook hand is what cuts down on the splitting. as long as you keep it in its rolled state and let it easily slide over your finger in your non-hook hand, you won't accidentally untwist it. Do you see how it gets very stringy like that? See how it splits? You want it to stay in its naturally twisted state. And what I tend to do is hold it too tightly. I hold it the same way. I keep just pulling it. Do you see it splitting right there? Look how it's laying on my hook. See, it widens out. But if I make sure that I let it pass very smoothly over this non-hooking hand, it won't come unraveled, so to speak. And it's less likely to split. See? Okay, remember this hat that I did last week? And I'm going to put buttons on it. And I couldn't make my mind up on what buttons to use, so I thought, ooh, let's vote. So here are your choices. We have the buttons that I put on the first one that I did. I still have some more of those. We can have a monochromatic look, which I think would be very elegant. Or if we prefer contrast, we have this same thing as the other one with that pearlescent type of middle, but it has a black ground, so black background. So take a look at these. Like all of us, I have a million things on my wish list that I want to accomplish. I got some great suggestions for mitten patterns, and that is still in the back of my mind on getting to those. So I appreciate y'all for mentioning those. So that about sums it up. If you want to work on some hats and scarves, particularly scarves, for Yolanda Soto Lopez, I'm going to put the link down below. And don't forget to vote on my buttons. I can't decide which one I like best for that hat. As a matter of fact, I may have to make a couple more of those ivory colored hats just to use all those button combinations because I like them all. And speaking of that hat, y'all need to check out Bobby's channel. It's XX Country Girl. I think I'll put the link down there. She did the same hat, but instead of using buttons, she put a flower. Looked great, very clever. So Bentley doesn't know it yet, but he has to go get in the bathtub. So I'll leave y'all for now. See you next week. Bye.